morning, Joe.
Morning, Chairman. How are you? Good to see
Good.
you.
Yeah, great to see you. I can't remember. I'm just trying to remember now when we actually saw each other face to face. Probably in Colombia.
Yeah, I know I've seen you in Colombia.
Yeah. So I'm here with Joe Hebert, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Outcrop Silver and Gold. You know, the whole purpose of today is to do a bit of an update with Outcrop, but also, you know, I think one of the things that I want to focus on, Joe, is to talk a little bit, you know, about Colombia. You know, I was very fortunate, as you know, some of the listeners may know, that, you know, I spent about 2 weeks in Colombia, in country. You know, with one of the main objectives was to go look at the Outcrop silver and gold properties with Joe and Joe's entire geological team. And I'll say right off the top, Joe, I was really impressed. You know, we haven't had a lot of, you know, I've written some, you know, things about my visit, you know, after, but we haven't had a chance to catch up, you know, on Zoom. But I'm very impressive, you know, geological team. And just for myself, when I go on these site visits, I really try and pay attention to the communities. I try to pay attention to the attitudes and the, you know, the energy that's in the room.
Yeah.
And you should know that there's a lot of people that are, you know, really excited and happy about what you're doing in that area. And I think, you know, one of the things that I really took away from that was I developed a real awareness for how important mining is, you know, to communities and to jobs, and if mining is done sustainably, you know, it can really add a lot of value to our society. And you know, that's something I always, you know, kind of remind people is, you know, we've got this iron ball spinning around at 30,000 miles an hour, and you know, we need these resources and we need to do these things sustainable. And I was just really taken back by the quality of Colombia as a jurisdiction, and also the interest in the people to want to do business in the mining sector. So, you know, congratulations to you for putting together such a great project.
Great team too.
Yeah, very good team. So, yeah, I think maybe to start, I mean, maybe just give a brief overview of Outcrop, you know, silver and gold. Maybe just give us a quick overview of Outcrop, and then I think what I would like to focus on, at least at the beginning of the interview, is your views on Colombia as a jurisdiction. But maybe first, just give our listeners a little overview of Outcrop.
Okay. Well, Outcrop really is one of a few junior explorers with a rapidly growing and substantially de-risked project or discovery, our Santa Ana project in a good jurisdiction of Colombia. We've got over 32,000 meters drilled in over 200 holes with assays, and we just continue to see really good results. Our weighted average right now is over 1.5 kilograms silver equivalent. That's all in outcropping mineralization. And I think importantly is we're moving that discovery to the next stage of value, which will be a compliant resource before the end of this year, 2022.
That's exciting because, you know, I know one of the things that we talked about when I was in Colombia, and I kept making notes, but you know, more just listening to you, Joe. But you know, is some of the comparisons of the number of ounces of silver that you feel, you know, you're obviously comfortable talking to with regards to Outcrop, and then how that would compare, you know, to something like Vizsla Silver in Mexico, or you know, some of your counterparts.
Well, you know, really, in a direct comparison to Vizsla, one advantage we have is the pure size of our system. We control 36,000 hectares. It represents over 60 kilometers of veins. Roughly 16% of our project is fully permitted, and just that 16% has as much favorable vein potential as what Vizsla is presenting on their maps. So it's quite a substantial potential area of potential resource. I think you know, we gave an internal guidance that is we're given an internal guidance of between 45 and 55 million silver equivalent ounces at between 550 and 750 grams equivalent silver per ton. The grade, at least, is conservative. And we say it's a maiden resource. What we mean by that, and maiden and upscalable, what we mean by that is that we'll just have an assay cutoff for the independent QP, probably mid to late October, but we'll be continuing with very high quality targets, up to 3 kilograms silver at surface in numerous areas. And so really that maiden resource will just be a starting point for us. And then we'll, if things go as well as we expect to have a follow-up resource 12 months after the first, and maybe a double on that guidance.
Okay. Yeah, and that's yeah, sort of coming back to me now as I was walking through the site and listening to your overall look at in particular the valuation. Because one of the things that we really focus on, as you know, is looking for companies like Outcrop Silver that are run by really capable management, and that's where Joe and your team and your board of directors are first class. Then also looking, so that's kind of the right people component, and then looking for the right quality project, and that's where we really point to number one, the jurisdiction like Colombia. And then number two, like obviously, me being on site, actually looking at, visible silver that was in the core, and you look at the extent and of the mineralization. And if I remember correctly too, there's even a well-known operating mine further north that is starting to look quite interesting as well, right?
One to the north, but the one that's more of a factor for our system is El Porvenir, which is to the southwest. But it's a well-run, moderate-sized, privately held mine that produces, I think it's 250 tons per day, fully permitted. And what's that a testament to is just the strength of the overall system, because that's almost 20 kilometers from our current core area of drilling. There's another historic mine about halfway to El Porvenir. It has a reported resource or a reported production of 7.8 million ounces of silver at 1.3 kilograms silver per ton. That's 100% controlled by us. So it offers another immediate high-grade target, but it's just the system just doesn't seem to quit. It's just about every 300 to 400 meters, we're able to pop into another one of these large, high-grade and relatively close-spaced shoots.
Well, and that's the stunning part. So you got this, you got a great management team. You've got an amazing project that's, showing prospectivity right through the whole system and historic kind of stuff. This isn't like arm waving. And then you've got a market cap that's relatively low. So that's one of the reasons we're highlighting this is you got the great people, you got great project, and then you got a price that just doesn't sort of add up when you compare it to other comparable stories.
I agree. Literally, I think if you look today, we're roughly 10-12% of what Vizsla is. Mm-hmm. They have their first reported resources, 106 million. Mm-hmm. We have a guidance on about half that, with an expectation to achieve that, and 10% of the market cap. I don't think that difference is sustainable. I think as we start establishing, proof of concept that yes, we have a big project that's going to produce substantial numbers, and especially substantial high grade. The grade is just through the roof, comparatively to other projects. So I think we should see that those market caps, draw together.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's a famous quote, I think, by Warren Buffett that said that, in the short term, the market is a bit of a voting machine, but in the long term, it's a weighing machine. So I think, what we try and highlight just to bring some awareness, for investors is when there's a real disconnect. In other words, when there's a discounted price on a really good project run by good people. So if for for listeners, I'm with Joe Hebert, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Outcrop Silver and Gold, one of our top picks. And one of the reasons we ended up getting involved with Outcrop was, we like Colombia. We were looking for a really good, silver deal. And I met with Joe, and, we've been to a couple different conferences together. So, we came on board to help with telling the story a bit. So I think to wrap up, Joe, I just came across this morning, and it's maybe a great thing to talk about, at the end of our interview, is I didn't realize that the Fraser Institute had ranked Colombia as the #1 country in Latin America for mining. Like, that's fantastic news.
Yeah, it's 2020 was first, Latin America. 2021 is actually second, but it only moved down one ranking, and curiously enough behind Ecuador, which seems surprising. But in any case, it is a top jurisdiction according to the Fraser Institute, and that really can be attributed to dramatic diminution of security risk, and also the fact that Colombia is just regularly permitting world-class mines. So
yeah, we talked at the beginning of this when we were offline a bit about Aris Gold. I'm not completely in tune with Aris, but I mean, they're running with a $250 million market cap. They got a world-class deposit. It's got 8.5 million ounces in the California Vetus Gold District. And then you've got all the work you're doing with Outcrop. And I know some of your sister companies like, Libero Copper, which is another company that you and I are both familiar with. That was part of the site visit as well. And yeah, and by myself being there, I was just very impressed with how mineralized that country is, but I didn't realize it was ranked so high in Latin America.
Well, I should say, in addition to the security and the permitting, it's like work in Chile or Peru 40 years ago. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, the whole country's low-hanging fruit, and so really, that's another aspect of Outcrop's projects, is they are substantially de-risked because they're outcropping deposits, and it's an exercise in drilling to see what they amount to. But I mean, it's you can't do. I don't know where to go to have this kind of a rich endowment still remaining. For a front, and it's a frontier area, obviously.
Well, that pretty much wraps it up, I think, for today, Joe. I mean, we're gonna really stay in touch as things develop in Colombia for Outcrop. But it's pretty clear. I mean, first of all, you can, how does an investor go out and get exposure to gold and silver and precious metals, which we think is really important in your portfolio? How do you find a great jurisdiction like Colombia that clearly is ranked #1 in Latin America? Then you got this like extra special company called Outcrop Silver and Gold that's trading at a valuation that what a great entry point. So thanks for spending the time with me this morning, Joe.
You bet, Sherman. It's always a pleasure. Good to see you again.
Great to see you.